human activity has a huge negative impact on the environment in today's world. The constant threat of a global environmental crisis is an integral part of the global agenda. To solve this problem requires an integrated approach, including responsible behavior of everyone.
Many of us are well aware that some areas of modern life cause significant environmental damage. For example, the oil and gas industry, international air transport, car exhaust fumes, excessive use of non-recyclable plastic, and others.
At the same time, there are areas where the impact is not so obvious, but no less significant. The fashion industry, for example, is one of the most polluting industries. Here are some facts how the production of clothes harms the environment.
Since 2000, clothing production has roughly doubled.
Most of these clothes end up in landfill.
In the process of washing clothes, 500,000 tons of microfibers enter the ocean annually, which is equivalent to 50 billion plastic bottles. Many of these fibers are polyester, plastic, which is contained in about 60% of the garments. In polyester production, 2 to 3 times more carbon emissions are released than in cotton production, and polyester does not degrade in the ocean.
In general, it is estimated that microplastic account for up to 31% of all plastic pollution in the ocean.
The fashion industry accounts for 10% of carbon emissions that the humanity produces.
Light manufacturing is the world's second largest water consumption after agriculture. About 3,000 liters of water are required to produce one cotton jacket. The production of one pair of jeans requires more than 9,000 liters of water, all because both jeans and shirts are made of a very water-consuming plant, cotton. In Uzbekistan, for example, so much water from the Aral Sea was spent on growing cotton that the sea actually completely dried up.
Clothing production is the cause of water pollution. Staining of fabrics is the second largest source of water pollution in the world.
In general, the fashion industry is responsible for 20% of all industrial water pollution worldwide. This evidence of the direct impact of fashion on the environment shows how critical the current situation is, and it obviously requires immediate solutions, including changing the behavior of consumers and sharing the conscious approach to the consumption of things.
Our investigation. While preparing for this lecture, a survey was conducted in which we asked respondents of the ages from 14 to 50 to answer the following questions. What is an environmentally friendly wardrobe in your understanding? Which items of clothing in your wardrobe can be called environmentally friendly? Is your wardrobe environmentally friendly? What can you do to make it more environmentally friendly? Our respondents, aged from 16 to 18 years, didn't show the understanding of an environmentally friendly wardrobe. Many replied that the presence of things made of natural fabrics, in their opinion, indicates the environmental friendliness of their wardrobe, which is only a part of a true answer.
When evaluating their wardrobe as environmentally friendly, our respondents primarily took into account the material used in production, while other equally important factors, the duration of use of clothes, the possibility of reusing it, recycling, were ignored by them.
Our respondents aged 25 to 35 divided into two groups. Some are trying hard to improve the environmental situation and prevent the disaster in various ways. Others live without thinking about having an environmentally friendly wardrobe at home, without thinking about the relevance of purchase. Thus, the aim of our project is to highlight the issue of an environmentally friendly wardrobe.
Thus, the analysis of the received answers makes it possible to draw the following conclusions. there is a clear need to educate both adolescents and adults to create a sustainable habit of conscious consumption when buying clothes, as well as to assimilate and implement the principles of creating the most environmentally friendly wardrobe in everyday life.
Historically, clothes appeared primarily due to climatic conditions and the need to have protection against the cold, heat, rain, and wind.
Clothing and textiles began to take on new importance with the development of mankind. Through clothing, it became clear what materials were available to different civilizations and individual social groups within them at different times. Clothing became more and more socially important, being, among other things, a reflection of the culture of society.
In 1990s, the fashion industry experienced explosive growth. People quickly became accustomed to an abundance of affordable and inexpensive things and began to shop.
So, the concept of fast fashion appeared. It is the philosophy of fast mass production of clothes at an affordable price and updating the production of the brand based on the latest fashion trends several times a season.
Having got aware of the consequences of such development, the society is now forced to reconsider existing approaches. This requires the concept of sustainability. Sustainable development. It is a set of measures that industries, the fashion industry in our case, need to take to do less damage to the environment, thus improving the economic and social situation.
For example, green fashion based on the principles of sustainable development assumes that companies use fabrics the production of which causes less damage to the environment than ordinary fabrics. For instance, organic cotton, processed polyester, or processed cotton.
Clothing buyers, in return, should also be aware of their own responsibility for collecting a wardrobe and give preference to clothing that is less harmful to nature, thereby supporting the further introduction of environmentally friendly technologies. In addition, consumers should be guided by principles that minimize the environmental footprints of excessive consumption and short-term use of clothes.
An environmentally friendly wardrobe is a wardrobe based on a set of principles of choosing and subsequently using clothes that minimize environmental damage. The basic principles of conscious consumption, which should be taken as the basis for the forming of an environmentally friendly wardrobe, can be determined through the Rule 3 Rs: reduce, reuse, recycle.
This list, in our opinion, should be supplemented by another important principle R, which plays a decisive role in the development of an environmentally friendly way of thinking: rethink.
It is important to understand that it is buyers who have the main influence on manufacturers through their own consumer behavior, becoming the main driving force for changes in this sphere. Luckily, modern tendencies of shopping habits lead manufacturers to eco-friendly decisions. Most companies and brands launched various environmental initiatives aimed at sustainable development.
In 2017, 90 firms representing approximately 12.5% of the global fashion market signed the Global Fashion Agenda 2020 agreement. It declares the need to recycle more used clothes and shoes, ensure cyclical production, and develop environmentally friendly fibers. The signatories reached 45 of the 213 goals.
Examples of initiatives by large international companies include the following. More and more large corporations are introducing eco-fabrics into production. For example,
speaking about responsible clothing manufacturers, First of all, it is necessary to mention the Stella McCartney brand, which actually originated from the very beginning as an eco-brand. The founder of the house, Stella McCartney, is known for caring attitude to ecology and wildlife.
The North Face is one of the most famous outdoor brands, having originally produced equipment for expeditions, tourism, and sports classes. In recent years, the North Face down jackets have gained great popularity, which was preceded by a solid contribution to the protection of nature.
North Face established the Ice 9 Award, which noted the most irresponsible companies. In 1989, the brand, together with several other outdoor brands, organized the Conservation Alliance, charitable foundation to protect U.S. natural places.
The Timberland brand has also been respectful of the environment since its launch. In particular, the capsule rebottle is a shoe made from recycled plastic bottles to 50%. Another notable Timberland initiative is planting trees around the world.
Our country also has eco-friendly designers. The most striking example is Vika Gazinskaya, starting the Vika Gazinskaya brand with her name. The fashion designer initially declared the so-called principle of non-cruelty in production. This means that natural fur and natural skin are not used in her collection.
Unlimited opportunities to get acquainted with lesser-known local eco brands are provided today due to the active development of online shopping. An excellent example is the young startup ecofashionlabels.com, a marketplace of sustainable fashion, which is represented by another 70 brands from more than 20 different countries, using environmentally friendly materials in production and having eco certificates.
Finally, giving preference to clothing from responsible manufacturers, large brands that introduce more environmentally friendly technologies into production, or small local eco-brands that create exclusive, better quality things entirely from organic materials, we thereby support the trend of sustainable development, stimulating further positive changes in this direction.
At the household level, rethinking should begin with an assessment of the wardrobe we have already got. The most environmentally friendly clothing is the one you already have. Contrary to a common misconception, the main role in determining the environmental friendliness of a particular thing is played not so much by the material from which it is made, but by how long you use it.
Sort out your wardrobe, find the most favorite things, what material they are made of, how long you use them, things of which design and cut suit you most.
It is also worth analyzing the reasons why parts of your wardrobe remains unclaimed. Style and shape that do not suit you, poor quality materials, impulsive purchase under the influence of advertising and fashion trends without taking into account individual features. The relevant conclusions will help to avoid unnecessary purchases in the future.
In addition, while analyzing the wardrobe, it may turn out that some of the things were simply forgotten. With a conscious approach, it will be easy to make many new combinations and wear them again with pleasure.
If you are still thinking of purchasing a new thing, pay attention to the composition of materials it is made of. The criterion of an environmental friendliness in choosing clothes should become a priority.
Here we can recommend paying attention to clothes from eco-fabrics, which can be relatively divided into 3 groups.
Besides, experts advise not to buy clothes that include 3 or 4 types of fiber, since clothes made of one type of fiber are most easily recyclable. Reduce consumption.
In order to buy less clothes, firstly you need to buy ones that you really like. that suit you, give pleasure, and which you do not want to part with. Only by forming your own style can you escape the mass consumption of clothes.
Secondly, you should make your choice in favor of quality, not quantity. It is better to purchase one, but better quality, which will last much longer.
It is worth paying attention to the basic things of the classic style.
Desired variety of everyday images with a minimum amount of clothes can be achieved using a capsule wardrobe. A capsule wardrobe is the minimum set of clothing that meets your needs and lifestyle, is easily combined in style, color, or prints and match each other. For example, in a capsule consisting of 6-10 things, you can create twice as many different combinations of images for any situations.
Thirdly, the process of buying clothes must be conscious. To avoid impulsive purchase, you should determine for yourself the wardrobe items that you really need and should purchase, and do it before you go to the shop.
Reuse. If there are unnecessary things in the wardrobe that you do not wear, you need to give them a second life. Modify. Before finally getting rid of some clothes, think about the possibility of modifying them.
Another option is to add unusual decoration to usual things.
It is also necessary to part with things in environmentally friendly way. To do this, first of all, you need to evaluate the state of clothing which you want to say goodbye to. What can be done with things in good condition without any defects in order to prolong their life and reduce their environmental footprint?
You can transfer things for charity to a specific organization, an orphanage or social service, and you can also use the help of non-profit projects that collect things and subsequently distribute assistance independently.
If, even after all the above mentioned steps, there are still unnecessary things in your wardrobe, for example, they have defects or are unsuitable to wear anymore, and cannot be exchanged and handed over to charity, they should be sent for processing. Where can you bring things for recycling?
All activities of the collector are aimed at the formation of the ecosystem, community, and ecoculture. In addition to clothing, the project also organizes the collection of the largest list of recyclables, about 100 categories, including rare species.
The second WIND Foundation is the largest non-profit organization in Russia engaged in the collection, sorting, redistribution and processing of clothes at any stage of their existence. The collection of things is carried out in containers installed around the city.
Old shoes can be handed over for recycling in rendezvous stores.
Rethink, reduce, reuse, recycle are the basic principles which are the cornerstone of the forming of an eco-friendly wardrobe. If we follow them, each of us supports sustainable development among producers and makes their contribution to minimize the harm done to the environment.
To make the implementation of the above stated principles in everyday life simple and convenient, it is possible to use the following checklists. We have to check if we,